As a person who's been traveling and snowboarding for most of my life, the resort of Zermatt in Switzerland had been on my radar for years. As I made plans for the trip, one place to eat kept popping up in both my friends' recommendations and my online research, and that place, Chez Vrony. But something unique about this place? It's miles from the nearest road. So during my recent trip to Zermatt, I made it a point to get a reservation and check it out. So stay tuned and I'll help you figure out the details of how to navigate to this restaurant that you cannot drive to, tell you about my experience, and give you a few pointers to help you maximize your experience at this unique and tasty place. A quick side note, I also have another longer video that goes into all the details of an entire trip to Zermatt. In it, I give pointers on how to get there, navigating the town and the ski resort, give suggestions on where to stay, and how to get into the mountains. Check it out if you're interested. Chez Vrony is an unmissable restaurant located in the tiny village of Findelen in the mountains above Zermatt in southern Switzerland. It's in a 120-year-old farmhouse with a large terrace and a straight-on, unobstructed view of the Matterhorn. It's also one of the last local restaurants in the area that still serves organic home produce from grass-fed alpine livestock, and they still make their own dried beef, sausage, and cheeses using centuries-old traditional recipes. This restaurant had been recommended to me by a number of friends who'd visited Zermatt before, so we made it a point to dine there on the last afternoon of our stay in the area. It was a highlight of the trip. First, a visit to Chez Vrony is not something that you can decide to do at the last minute. At least a few weeks, and up to 2 months before you arrive in Zermatt, make a reservation through their website. The place books up fast, so this is something you really need to plan ahead for. To get to Chez Vrony from the village of Zermatt, first you'll walk to the base of the Senega funicular. It's about a 6 to 8 minute walk from the Bahnhof, or train station. If you're walking on, it's 16 Swiss francs one way and 23 Swiss francs return, but it's included with a daily ski pass or icon pass. With your ticket, you'll pass through the ticket gate and then walk through a tunnel into the loading area. Trains come about every 4 minutes or so, and it only takes 3 minutes for the carriage to travel all the way up the tunnel to the Senega Alpine Station. Once you reach the top of the funicular, there's pay lockers to store extra gear or bags you may have, as well as a lodge and access to other ski lifts and trams. If you're a skier or snowboarder, just exit the station, gear up, and follow the signs downhill to Findelen along the number 6 piste. It's well signposted and an easy run. It'll take you about 3 to 5 minutes to get to the restaurant. If you're on foot, you'll follow both part of the piste and the footpath, but it'll obviously take a little bit longer, probably 20 to 30 minutes if you're walking through snow, a bit less if it's not winter. If you are walking in winter, be sure you have proper footwear or micro spikes on your shoes so you'll be able to safely negotiate the potentially icy trail. If it's summer and you want to skip the funicular, just head up from Zermatt and plan on it taking about an hour-and-a-half hike each way. The farmhouse restaurant is well marked and just off the piste in the center of the charming cluster of houses and barns of Findelen. Chez Vrony only serves lunch, and they have 2 seatings. The first service goes from noon to 1:50 p.m., and the second service from 2 to 4 p.m. I made our reservation for 2 p.m. We arrived about 15 minutes early and were immediately seated. Since it was a beautiful sunny day, we were seated outside in a double chaise covered in blankets and sheepskins at the terrace railing with a front row view of the ancient barns, ski slope, and the Matterhorn. All the guests that day were seated outside, but I imagine on days with less hospitable weather, the service takes place inside the homey and eclectically decorated farmhouse. Guests were a broad mix of couples, friend groups, and large families. During our lunch, we took our time. Had a few beers, split a lovely appetizer platter of traditional cured meats, cheeses, and pickles. For mains, had a truffled flatbread and the Vrony burger. How can a place be both upscale and casual at the same time? The service was attentive and friendly, and the food was delicious. Although not cheap by any standards, the splurge of 130 Swiss francs for such a delicious meal in an amazing and unique setting actually felt like an excellent value. I highly recommend it, and will definitely be going again if I have the opportunity to return to Zermatt. One important consideration to remember is that if you skied or snowboarded to the restaurant and are in the second seating, be sure you allow yourself enough time to catch the last chair up from the Asia chair at the bottom of piece number 6. From the restaurant, there's no ski trail back to Zermatt without going back up to the Senega. So if you linger too long, you'll be hiking back up to get down. My hope is that this will help enable you to make a trip to this unique, delicious, and special restaurant that you can only ski or hike to. If you found this valuable, a like and subscribe really helps me out. Please don't hesitate to post your questions or comments.